Hey guys, this weekend's banners are somewhat solid, but I think that they are not at all worth summoning for, to the point where this has no longer become a normal should you summon. This video is going to be about the entire month of banners and how I think everyone should be summoning for each banner individually, which things you should be prioritizing, and I don't really know what to call this video, but basically just here is your summon roadmap for the month. And like I said, I don't think anyone should be summoning this weekend. Comet is good, one of the better AoE mages in the game. Eris is really solid as well. He does a lot of damage, AoE as well. But I don't think you should pull on this. Partially because instead of a 15x, we are going to be getting a 20x rate up indefinitely, like forever, after the 15th. So after these banners end, it will go to a 20x. So that makes these banners a lot worse. You're most likely not going to get what you want, at least compared to future banners. As well as the fact that we are getting a rerun of one of the better limiteds in the game, and we're getting a new good hero, and then two of the better heroes in the game on the same banner afterwards. I think it is a no-brainer to skip this weekend. I would skip it no matter what, no matter who you are. You need to save 200 summons for next week's banner. If you don't, rip, basically is all I could say. So with further ado, let's go over to the website that shows all of the banners. As you can see, event series egg hunt, we get some freebies, including most likely enough summons to pull for Anora if you don't have enough already. But basically, we're getting Anora on the 17th, Talin, which is new, and I should have a video talking about her kit and the other two units, including a potentially limited, maybe not a limited, but someone that definitely reads like it. That should be going live in about 6 to 8 hours. This will be on the 18th. Lyra's there as well. I don't like Lyra that much. And then the 19th, we're getting Valdderon and Ymiret on an ancient banner. And then we're getting a Hatssut Twilight banner on the 25th. That is what is coming this month. So how do I think you guys should spend your summons? Well, first of all, you have to summon for Anora. Skipping limiteds is stupid. I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all. I really need to emphasize that if you skip a limited, you are breaking your account. Limiteds versus non-limiteds is so different. Like, even if you need Talin or you need Hatssut, if you skip Anora, especially if it is your first Anora, you are effectively not going to be able to get her again for most likely close to a year. That's just how limiteds work right now. Maybe in the future they'll release something that make it so that you could, get any limited in the past and you could pull for it. Maybe they'll do that eventually. But currently, Anora, for example, the last time she was on a banner was anniversary of last year. It has been 10 months since we have had Anora. Anora is one of the most meta GVG units and has been for a very long time. And she still is. She's still incredibly good. She's good in a lot of other areas. And with Tower Mode coming on the 21st, Anora is clearly going to be good there, because she is one of the only units that cannot be buffed, but also cannot be debuffed. And she's a really good DPS. She's getting a buff where she does more damage more quickly. She gets more attack range on her ultimate, and she's also getting a buff to her A1. She's getting buffed, and she was already really good. And she has some versatility for some areas of the game that they might be releasing. The second that we get a really defined area of the game where a lot of debuffs are going on your units, Anora is going to be good there, right? I think it is stupid to skip a limited in general. Like, people were telling me that Diao-chan was garbage and that they were going to skip her. If you do that, you were dumb. I'm just going to say it right now. You have to have 200 summons for Anora. Pull for Anora. And you'll get another week to save for Hatssut or Twilight if you want, which is the other banner I would use your blue summons on, unless you have the heroes already. Hatssut is so important for a lot of things in this game. She's not getting better over time, but she's still being just as good as she's always been. She used to be the best unit in the game. She's still one of the most powerful units in the game. You're going to want her for GVG. You're going to want her for Geared Under 2. If you haven't beat all of Gear Raid 3 yet, she is like one of the best units there. She can solo Gear Raid 2. She is amazing in Arena, right? she's good basically everywhere. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. She's probably the most versatile unit in the game. I think Hatssut is a must pull if you do not have her. If you do have her, her awakenings are kind of mediocre. I wouldn't pull on this banner. Twilight is a good consolation prize too. But if you have Wukong, you have Kagiri, which are two of the last limiteds. She's a lot less useful because in the guild bosses, you're only really going to have like 3 or 4 ground DPS. And if you're running Wukong and Kagiri, that's 2 of the 3. And then the third unit, a lot of the times I've been noticing, can be other units, like Salazar for Abyss 1. He can just tank things better, especially if you don't have Kagiri. You know, you might need a magic DPS like Lord Phineas. It depends on what your account needs. If you see that you're struggling in Guild Boss 2, you're struggling in Abyss, and you have a use for her there, I would say she's worth going for. But despite her being one of the better boss killers in the game, that is all she's used for. And there's just better options. So I wouldn't really go for Twyla. She's more of a happy accident character where if you pull her, you're happy that you got her because she is good. She's very good. But I don't think she's a must pull, especially not when we have an Anora banner. We have Twyla Hatssut, and then we have a new hero Talin. Also something with Anora that I should have mentioned is if you are a whale, you are into GVG, I would go for her awakenings, her A3 or A5. If you really want to dominate GVG, it's going to take an ungodly amount of summons, but hopefully with the 20x, it'll be more common to get her. Her awakenings are really freaking strong, so keep that in mind. Now we get to the final normal banner, which is Talin and Lyra. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think Lyra is worth going for on a banner, especially not in this month when there's a limited going on at the same time. Lyra is good, but for Guild Boss 2, she's not needed. She's not necessary. She'll help you if you're not hitting 120k. But do I think that she's super important to hit it? Not really, especially with Wukong coming out recently. If you have Wukong, if you have awakenings into Wukong, you just simply don't need a buff dispeller because Wukong does so much damage, right? Kagiri, if you have Kagiri at all, if you have Lucius at all, I wouldn't go for Lyra. She's solid in Abyss, but I don't like using her. I don't recommend using her because if you're in a position where you need to use Lyra, you're probably not in a position to even have the strength to put her in, essentially. It's complicated. Just take my word for it. You're probably not going to use her. And then Talin. Talin, once again, kit video will be out in a couple hours. Do I think Talin is worth it? I think she's the first unit of her kind. I'm not going to spoil anything. She's the first unit of her kind. She's really cool. And until we test her, which we can't because she's not playable on test server, she's just there on test server, we're not going to know. So for this one, my opinion will change depending on how I see how she works. But for now, I can't really justify pulling on her instead of the Anora or the Hatssut banner. All I will say is she's very cool. And if you already have Hatssut and you're skipping that banner, and then you're not going to go for Anora Awakenings, I would say it's worth going for her. She's really cool. I read her kit. I was impressed. I thought it was really creative, really good design. And although I cannot leak the information now, I mean, she's cool, I guess. But I don't think she's top priority, is all I am trying to say. And the Valdderon and Ymiret banner, essentially, I would not summon on this if you don't have Ingrid, you're waiting for an Ingrid banner, then I would save. Despite the fact that Valdderon is one of, if not the best single target arena unit, but at the end of the day, that's like all he's used for when you're later game. Early game, he is so freaking strong, it's insane. But when you get later game, he's just outclassed in almost everywhere but single target arena. And that's realistically one of the only areas I would use him in. And then Ymiret is, in my opinion, the single best GVG unit. Maybe there's an argument for Lily or an argument for Ingrid, but I think Ymiret's the most versatile, the most usable, and he makes your second team or your first team almost unbeatable just by him being there because he's so good. That's what Ymiret's main use is. He's really good in arena. He's really good in really all content. If you're in the gear raids, he will help you a ton. But at that point, you probably don't have Ymiret if you're fighting the gear raids. Basically, Ymiret's good everywhere. It's just the places where he excels is GVG. So if you don't have Ymiret, you care about GVG, that's why I would pull in this banner, not for Valdderon. Even though I know a lot of people use Valdderon, But honestly, at this point in time, despite me wanting to pull for this banner, I honestly would rather have a Sulkadin's banner. So if you're saving for an Ingrid banner, if you're saving for maybe a new Lord coming out, because we know there's going to be one soon, we just don't know anything about it. Or if you want to save for like a Sulkadin's to push your Abyss Core, then I would save. But realistically, this is a very good banner. So I wouldn't judge you guys to pull on it. So basically, just to summarize quickly, I know I did a bunch of yapping, but I mean, it's a ton of banners, right? For should you summon, skip this week. Go for 1 copy of Anora minimum. You have to. After that point, if you are a whale or a GVG player, I would go for Awakenings. A1, A3, A5. Those are all really good Awakenings. And then beyond that point, if you don't have Hatssut, you must pull on the Hatssut banner. But if you do have Hatssut, then you can open your eyes to the Talin banner. If you think Talin's cool, based off of the kit that you guys will see soon, then go for her. But if you don't think she's cool and you want Twilight, you can go for her, or you could save for future. I think a new limited might be coming. There's also another hero on test server who I think is even better than Talin, which should be coming next month. So keep that in mind, which you guys will get to see soon. And then for the Valdderon and Ymiret banner, pull on it if you do not need Ingrid desperately. You do not care about the new Lord that might be coming because we don't know anything about it. Or you don't want like Sulkadin's, who has gotten a lot of use recently. If you don't have Ymiret, I would pull on this. If you are a GVG player, and you have Ymiret, then it's kind of just, I personally, I wouldn't, but it's up to you. This banner is just going to depend on your account. You're just going to have to analyze which one of these you have, how much you care about them versus other units you don't have, blah, 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 blah. It's a good banner, right? That is my assessment for this entire month. I know it's kind of like an off the cuff, yap sesh, but I like to yap, okay? You can't blame me. So I hope you guys have a good time pulling this month. Very exciting stuff. A lot of really good banners. There is no bad option here, except for not going for Anora. If you don't go for your Anora, I will despise you guys. But anyways, there's no bad option. Everything is good. Summon to your heart's content. We've gotten a lot of freebies lately, so it's pretty hype. And best of luck, guys. I will see y'all later. Also, I will be doing viewer summons for them, but I will announce that when their banners go live. Okay, bye guys. Destined signing out. See ya.